So, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the bi-weekly community call. We have a bunch of stuff to cover, and I know we made an announcement about mode a little bit earlier today, but we will clarify what's going on for all of you who are curious. I know I saw a couple of questions in the general chat about it, so we'll talk about it in a bit and give you guys the latest on everything that's going on there. Sammy, are we hazing today? Do we have a person to tell a new joke today? Or are we doing it in the next call?
No, next call they'll be on board.
Alright, next call. So, sorry, fellas, no joke today. But next call, we will for sure have one. They're not getting away with not telling a joke. But anyways, I guess we can go through the usual stuff. Jamie, I think it might be just... Wait, can you guys not hear me anymore?
I can hear you.
Okay, looks like some people are having issues, so it's not me. Alright, all good then. Anyways, I think we have a couple of governance things that need to be voted on. I don't think anything huge, just some, I think just one actually, like whitelist proposal for Beethoven. But other than that, make sure you all vote, please. And I think we'll have a couple more proposals coming down the pipeline relatively soon. Yeah, so Figgy just shared the proposal. Other than that, the partnerships, especially on the cross-chain front, have continued to keep flowing. So about 2 weeks ago, we went live with PancakeSwap on BNB chain. And I believe at the time there was actually boosted cake rewards. I will need to double check if that is still true. Yeah, it actually looks like it is. So I think there's like 2x cake rewards on the PX ETH LP on Binance. So if anybody is on BNB chain, go farm that pool while the rewards are still hot. I know we had some issues when we initially launched the pool, and to make up for that, they are boosting the rewards even still. So good opportunity there. Additionally, it looks like APX ETH, the Pendle integration there, got added to PinPy, which I believe allows you to earn some pretty juicy yields. So if anybody is messing around on Pendle and wants to have some fun there, then check out PinPy. Let's see. We also had this case study come out from Lodestar, who some of you may or may not know, but not long ago, we launched a hidden hand market for them. They're one of the smaller protocols we've worked with for hidden hand, but I believe Frax has been leveraging the hell out of their hidden hand market. I think they had something like 4x efficiency or something like that with their bribes. So obviously like $1 of bribes led to $4 of rewards. Yeah, here's the exact number. So apparently for every dollar that Frax bribed, they received $4.48 in load incentives, which is pretty crazy to think about. And obviously it's like a relatively new market. It's relatively small, and I think it's not super competitive at the moment, but it is cool to see that hidden hand allows teams to find new angles to sort of, market what they're building. So pretty neat. I'm going through these fast, that way we have a long back half of the call, by the way, to talk about mode stuff. But also, for those of you who've been keeping up, we also went live with PX ETH on Blast not long ago. But our big partnership there, or partnerships there, is with Thruster, which is the largest DEX on Blast, and then Hyperlock, which is their sort of meta governance layer on Blast. And I saw a couple of people asking about like whether or not this is a good farm or whatever. And I think the easiest way to think about Thruster and Hyperlock is the same as you think about Balancer and Aura. But the reason I bring it up is because it is a pretty crazy points farm. So I know a lot of you are into the points meta, but basically the way it works, if you decide to LP on Thruster and stake on Hyperlock, you essentially earn Blast points, Blast gold, Thruster credits, and Hyperlock points, which is fucking points bonanza. So like essentially you earn 4 different types of points. And to clarify on the way that gold works, Figgy posted the tweet there that also highlights it. So Blast gold one Blast gold is equivalent to 35,000 Blast points. So if you didn't receive like a whole Blast gold or something like that, I wouldn't stress about it because it's still worth a ton of of Blast points. But as far as we know, the way that Blast Gold is distributed is by actually using the protocols on Blast. So if you're somebody who's just bridged over and isn't anything, you won't benefit as much as somebody who's bridged over and decided to use various applications. So if earning Blast points and Blast Gold and all of the rest is something that's interesting to you, the PX ETH farm is pretty juicy. And then one other pro tip on the Hyperlock farm itself, as you earn points, you can use those points to then vote for the pools you want more points to go to, just like with like Curve and Convex, etc. if you're a V-Curve or VLCVX holder. So as you're earning points on Hyperlock, make sure to vote for the PX ETH Wrapped ETH pool on Hyperlock so you can get more points. Bit of a points ponzu, but good nevertheless. Let's see. Okay. I think that might be it, actually. Oh, no. So we also launched a partnership with Picasso Network. This one's a little out of my wheelhouse, so I'll let somebody else up here take it. But I believe they will be who we're partnering with to bring PX ETH to Cosmos. I don't know if anybody up here is closer to that partnership who can kind of like touch on it a bit. No.
Which partnership?
The Picasso Network, the Cosmos one.
Yeah. It's a bit far from what we usually do if you guys mostly stay attached to the ETH scene, but Picasso is basically what they're working on now is like basically restaking, but for Cosmos instead of Ethereum. They haven't worked with many other ETH LSDs yet, but we started off our collaboration with them where you can use PX ETH through IBC so that PX ETH is available on all the Cosmos chains. And soon after this launch, we're going to be eligible as restaking collateral for Picasso. So when someone wants to launch a Cosmos chain that's secured by other deep liquid assets, they can use PX ETH for that. So they've already connected us with 1 or 2 groups who are interested in restaked PX ETH on Cosmos.
Nope.
But we haven't started pushing the IBC stuff yet because we still have a few more L2s and L1s to get done.
Yeah. And as you can all tell, we've been on like a full cross-chain sprint as of late. So I'm sure there's a lot more in the pipeline that we'll be announcing relatively soon. Additionally, the Napier Llama race and quest went live. So for all of you who've been keeping up with this as sort of airdrop to RL Butterfly holders, you should have points available to claim there. And then additionally, you can like vote on Redacted in the race, I believe, which is like kind of part of the quest. So you can get some like bonus points or whatever for completing the first quest. And I know some people had some questions about like connecting your Twitter and whatnot. You actually don't have to do that to claim your initial points and then vote. So you can kind of skip that part. And I don't believe you're missing out on too many points there. So don't sweat it if you don't feel comfortable sort of connecting Twitter. It's not a big deal. And then we have 2 more things on the partnership list to cover. So another partnership that we announced relatively early, but is important to highlight nonetheless, is our partnership with Premise Protocol. So they're basically building a metaverse project that is, in their words, powered by liquid staking. So I believe, and I'm not like super sure how like the best way to explain this, but they're basically building these sort of decentralized game servers where they are powered by LSTs underneath, and APX ETH is going to be one of those LSTs. I believe they'll also be giving us some like preferential treatment over other LSTs, which is always a good sign. This is just like one of those unique primitives that if we can get APX ETH and PX ETH there early, it doesn't hurt. It can only help. And they'll be doing this like bonding event of sorts where if you bond your APX ETH, you'll end up earning like boosted points, boosted rewards, and then various types of yield. So if that is interesting to any of you guys who are keeping up with metaverse stuff, then feel free to check it out and I guess let us know what you think. And then last on the list, which will allow us to pivot into the mode conversation, is what we announced this morning. So PXETH can now be bridged to mode, just like all of the other chains and L2s that we allow bridging for. And this time we are sort of live with the PXETH ETH pool on Kim, which is one of the top dexes on mode. And you basically, by LPing there, it's another points farm. You'll be getting Kim points, and then it looks like you'll also be getting 4x mode points for being an LP there, which is pretty good. So, quick caveat based on at least one question I got in the Discord. This is completely separate from the mode partnership we've been teasing for the past couple of months. This is simply just bridging PXETH to mode, whereas the partnership that we have with mode is going to look a little different. It's still obviously going to use PXETH, but the way in which that is manifested will look different than simply like bridging PXETH to mode. And so I guess now we can give the sort of latest update on where we are with that. Never, I don't know if you want to give a quick tech update.
Yeah. We are now finished in like 1.5 more days. I think we have left with Spairbit. And then we can, it's polished. Might get one more person to review it really fast and then good to go. So now it's back, the ball's back in the court of the mode team to get the UI, get the comms docs and everything ready to launch it. So yeah, late stage.
Hell yeah. So almost to the finish line here. And I promise the wait will be worth it, not particularly because of the size of the deposit or anything like that. I think obviously that's great, but I think the solution that Never and Co have helped build is way more interesting than the original idea, which we've touched on in prior calls, because basically like what it will allow us to do is it'll allow us to continuously go after like multiple L2s. And it's a pretty unique solution. I'm trying to like tiptoe around what it actually is, because I want to save it for the actual announcement, which is really fucking cool. So yeah, we're almost there, but I just wanted to be very clear that, you know, this particular announcement we made today is separate from the mode thing. When actual announcement, I don't know. Soon.
Yeah, just to clarify that. So the PXETH that is on mode is like PXETH that's bridged separately, not the ETH that's staked not the ETH that is in the mode bridge. Yeah. On the mode bridge, you can bring ETH over, and then that is what we're turning into PXETH. Whereas with this, it's our OFT with layer 0. You can bring that over to mode and use it separately from mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as it pertains to like the actual announcement, what the actual solution is, I think it makes sense to save it without actually leaking everything, just because it makes it, I don't know, it's more interesting, and I think it'll be cooler. And we also have like other partners involved, obviously, that we don't want to like front run. So in terms of when the announcement, I don't know, probably within the next few weeks, probably. Obviously, we don't give like very explicit timelines because there's stuff that's out of our control. Like Never said, it's still on the tail end of the audit cycle, and then there's other stuff we have to build out to actually get it live. So I imagine it'll be within the next few weeks or so. It's soon, very, very soon. Any other questions about that, or was that clear? As clear as it can be, I guess. That GIF is... Okay, is the whole ARC family in the Discord? Who's this one? So we have father, son. What are you, TSWZ? Sammy, did you know this? That the ARC crew is all family?
Since day one.
I just thought it was like a secret group that you guys are in. I didn't know you were all related.
Yeah, I don't know what the connection is, but...
So, related and a secret group. Okay, nice. Does the community get preview at first? Vicepex, if you're talking about the mode thing, I mean, pretty much. I assume that's why you guys keep coming to these calls every other week, because we tend to share like as much as we can, as early as we can, without like making big announcements and such. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure to some degree you guys will know. You guys already know more than most of the general public because we're in here giving updates as much as we can. Pew, did he left? No, he's still here. I don't think he left the Discord. 111 Arc says we already know. He didn't leave, bro. He didn't leave. You'd be in shambles if he left. That would be terrible. Cool. Well, we actually are doing really good on time. I thought there would be more questions about the mode stuff, and I kind of breezed through a lot of the partnerships. So since I went through that stuff fast, if you guys have questions about it, feel free to leave them. I don't know. Are there any other updates up here that anybody feels are important to give? Otherwise, we might have a short call, and you guys will just have to wait until the next call for more alpha.
No, this is kind of what our team's on, focused on shipping and as fast as possible. Made it pretty general. I mean, this one's like we're not going to be posting on our own website or stuff. It's a mode product, and that's kind of like the direction we want to go. We're the tech providers and the LST, but you scale it by not making it like having its own brands on multiple chains. So yeah,
that was a pretty good alpha leak, Andy. Way to leak without leaking. That was good, actually.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants the secret sauce, it was in whatever Never just said. If you don't know how to use the integrations, yeah. So we actually do have a bunch of tutorials now for like basically every integration. Intern's been cranking them out. So if you guys are curious about how some of these integrations work, or you're wanting to learn more about a protocol, we've been pushing those out. Intern's been busy. Are you guys leaking things while I had to drop for a work call? I mean, yeah, you'll have to listen to the recording, but I think Never gave a pretty good leak without leaking too much. Yeah, sure, we're switching to a point system. Yeah, we're shutting it all down and just launching a points farm. Dinero UI update soon.
You guys can farm scroll points, mode points, all of the good points.
Blast points
them right now with BT. Yeah, blast points. Yeah, all the good farms.
There is literally, there's an unbelievable amount of point farms live for PXE.
I said this last time, but if you're not farming the scroll one, then you're missing out, because that's our outcome. So get on the scroll one.
Yeah, Sammy is bullish on the scroll farms. And Funky's right. Like you also get scroll and ambient, so it's not just scroll. You'll get some good points there.
And on blast you're getting thruster, blast, hyperlock, and blast gold, sure, and the juice as well. So all of them. So.
I saw a question a second ago. Oh, that's what it is. Mole teasing the Dinero update, Dinero UI update. Yeah, so the Dinero app is getting, or really the UI is getting a huge overhaul that's going to be fucking badass. It's really good. So we've been basically taking all the feedback that people have, also kind of doing some more like research into other apps that do certain things very well, and we've been incorporating all of that into the Dinero UI. And so I think we're going to push it out soon, within the next couple of weeks. It's basically almost ready. We're putting final touches on it and stuff. Updates on the marketing and brand discussion. Yeah, so there's been some conversations about like how the Redacted brand and stuff is going to evolve in light of like the sort of new Dinero focus, in light of the direction we're going in the near future and all the stuff we're working on. So nothing that I can say on this call. No update that I can really say on this call. All I can really say is what I said in Discord previously when this discussion is going on, is that we are working on some stuff that will certainly refine the messaging, make it easier for people to understand, and all of that. It's worth like noting that there's a ton of stuff going on in the background, and a ton has happened since Redacted's initial launch over 2 years ago now. And with our focus on Dinero, it kind of makes sense to evolve the brand and the messaging, but there's a lot of stuff that has to be completed first. And I know that's a very like political answer and doesn't provide much insight, but just know we are working on it, and there's other stuff that has to be finished in the background before we can do it. Never heard of a point. What's that? Too hard. I miss the old days. Yeah, good point. No pun intended. Where's the sneak preview for the UI? Maybe Sammy can leak one later today, or Mole can leak one if they want.
I mean, Mole can just send them in a Discord now. Maybe.
Yeah, if Mole, if you want to take a screenshot or two and leak them in the Discord, feel free. Choose wisely though. Don't leak too many. We'll let Mole decide if he wants to. It's up to him. They're his designs. I saw another question. How do you guys feel about all of these LRT points making it so expensive to attract TVL? Yeah, this is a really good point, actually. The current LRT meta makes it very expensive and difficult to compete in some ways, but we are thinking about solutions to that problem. Yes, Mole leak the mode deposit. Yeah, Mole just leak everything. Just share everything. Yeah, problem solved. Thoughts on Eigenlayer? What do you mean specifically? We have a lot of thoughts on Eigenlayer.
Eigenlayer is reviewing the contracts right now for PXE. And so we've been connected with the team for a while now, and they are going over all of the different aspects of the code to make sure, obviously, the token's not ruggable, which it's not, and just go through like a tech due diligence thing. So it's been going really well with Eigenlayer.
Cool. So there's your Eigen update. Will we be there at some point? Yes, at some point. I think their timeline is like pretty unpredictable though. Because if we had a set date, of course we'd let you guys know. Any hint on solutions? No. As soon as we have something solid, of course I'll share it. Anything with Barachain? Barachain's not live, and they just raised more money than gods. I don't know. There's a UI teaser in the chat from Mole. So that is the refreshed deposit page. Did you guys say anything about Kim? Yeah, so let me, Dershawn, if you're on a work call and you missed it. So Kim is a DEX on mode that we just launched a PXE ETH pool on. But as Sammy said, the Kim and mode thing is very separate from the mode PXE ETH partnership. This is literally just bridging PXE ETH to mode to farm Kim points. Like it's just kind of like a whole different thing. ETH ETF, sure. I think that the ETF will be, first off, if it gets approved, which I'm still operating under the assumption that there's a good chance it will. I think it will be very good for Ethereum DeFi, which has been on the back burner for a lot of this cycle so far. You know, the Bitcoin ETF and the Solana hype has kind of like throttled Ethereum DeFi. Go ahead, Sammy.
Yeah, and also I think that what we're seeing is that we talked with a few different parties, even some of them that filed the ETF applications, and there's a strong belief that there won't be any staking just because of how hard it's going to be to get the spot ETF passed. So I think it'll be a good catalyst for like ETH staking just to get more interest in ETH from institutions. Because right now we're kind of sidelined by BTC and Solana taking up all the attention.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these issuers, they kind of just like threw staking in there to bait the SEC into like a conversation. I don't think they intended to actually get that approved. When is Redacted launching its own L2? I don't know. Probably tomorrow. How do you guys think about this Ethereum DeFi bear market? Yeah, I mean it's boring and it kind of sucks, right? Because it the only way right now to get ahead is to launch like some sort of like LRT Ponzu that people can farm with 40x leverage on Pendle, which is like a little shitty, but it's obviously a sign that like the market is not anywhere near where it was during like the last cycle top. I think I was talking about this in Discord not long ago, where like last cycle top retail was aping like fucking Clima DAO and stuff, like, and now pretty much all of the capital is just like going into LRT. So I think we have a long way to go in terms of growth and adoption. And I think we're nowhere near where we were last cycle. So China and Hong Kong will approve next week. Oh, they're doing, yeah, I guess so. I think Europe is also far along on doing some sort of like Ethereum or ETH exchange traded product of some sort. Pew is alive? Yeah, he is. He's alive. I saw him talk the other day or a couple days ago. He's hanging in there. A redacted L2. What do you think, Sammy? Should we do it?
What we're doing is way better than an L2. L2s are busy. L2s are busy. No one has edge. You saw how the Frax one was.
You can get edged. I don't know how the Fraxon has been doing, actually. I haven't paid attention to it. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen this. Like the L2s, it's like, it's busy. There's no one's like winning in them. Everyone's just spending a ton of money. Some people complain about like butterfly missions. Like in order to get an L2 going, you spend way more money than that on getting an L2 started. And all I can say is that like the direction we're heading in this year, there's I see these questions about in the chat here about the L2. Someone brought up the rebrand, all these different things. Like it'll be much better than what an L2 could ever do for us. Yeah. Who knows? Some people know in this chat.
Chang says redacted L1. Now, see, that's why we hired you, Mr. Chang. That's a fucking solid idea right there. We'll launch a Bitcoin competitor. No smart contracts. Will this project last till summer? We might just make it to another summer. We might just make it. Look at Barachain to launch their chain. They need more loot. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty good example. Like, and I think, who was it the other day that just announced like a $250 million raise? Was that Celestia? Monad, yeah, Monad. Like, all of these, not all of these, but many of the L2s and L1s and such that are trying to do like any sort of meaningful innovation, like Barachain, like Monad. I mean, they need fucking $100 million plus to like really make that happen, and you have to build an elite team and all the rest. Otherwise, you like launch a pretty lazy, uncompetitive solution, just like Sammy mentioned. Oh, another UI leak from Wheels. Wheels, your grandma would be so proud, man. This is great stuff. Great stuff. How's the runway? I don't know. Funky, how is the runway? Good. Hopefully that answers that. What about, okay, sorry, go ahead.
We're in a strong position, good stables, good ETH treasury, good L1 DeFi treasury.
You're a little quiet for me. Might have to move that mic. Yeah, you're going to have to move it.
It's
right
good.
Up the lips. There it is.
We have strong treasury. I think our team is very lean. We take a good attention to keeping our costs low, and at the same time trying to ship high quality products, as the community can see.
Yep. And while we have you, any update on the FraxETH, PXETH peg situation?
So the peg has improved. I think it's like 9925 right now, and we'll continue to transfer incentives from the FraxETH pools to WETH pools. And yeah, the peg going back up, I think the goal is probably like above 995. We'll take some time, but once we're there, we shouldn't be in the same situation as before. I think we've had some good takeaways from our previous experiences.
Yeah, and I know I think we might have mentioned this on the last community call, and perhaps even one before it, I don't remember, but for those of you out of the loop, like the amount of liquidity we had paired between PXETH and FraxETH was causing issues with the peg and TVL, to be honest. So because the FraxETH peg was constantly trending down, because I don't remember, like some vast majority of their liquidity is from the AMO, so everything is like overweight FraxETH that was causing the peg to go down, which caused our peg to go down, which created like this weird arbitrage opportunity that was kind of like throttling TVL growth. So anytime there was a big deposit, there'd be an opportunity for arbitrage, which is lame. So once we fix that situation, TVL will ultimately just continue to trend back up. What is Dinero conditioned to PXE TVL? What else? Yeah, so we've kind of touched on this in previous calls as well, but like the biggest condition is for PXE to be successful, right? Like the Dinero product suite is just that. It's a suite of products where every piece of it relies on the piece before it. So in order for Dinero to be like large and successful, the stablecoin PXETH also needs to be large and successful, right? And so in order for the relayer to be a good relayer, we need to be a large producer of blocks on Ethereum. Otherwise, it would just be a shitty relayer. So
No,
I would say, go
right.
ahead, Indy.
So, yes, stablecoins are like probably the most like competitive space in DeFi. You do not want to go in there and just launch something without having the edge. You don't have the edge, you'll never make it there. So yeah, it's just now building up the moat and the edge. And PXE is a big edge that we have. Just like, Prisma launched their MKUSD with their own LSD, everything vertically integrated. It would be way more secure and also just makes sense. So right now, just you have to build the moat and you have to build the edge. That's kind of
Yeah,
the mode.
and like right now, if we rushed to we could rush to launch the stablecoin in a couple months or something, but like then we're going to have to spend money to grow Pirex TVL and the stablecoin at the same time without both of them being like, if PXETH was already large and already had a ton of TVL, already had a lot of demand, and then we launched the stablecoin, then most of the focus would just have to go into growing the stablecoin and making sure it has adequate liquidity everywhere, etc. But if we launched it now, while PXETH is still very much growing and still costs money to expand, then we just have like two large money sinks or something like this to try to like grow both of them at the same time. So it would be a bit counterintuitive. How big does PXETH need to be? I don't think there's like a exact number per se, but I mean, it needs to be among the top sort of LSTs. So I think like there's a lot of stuff we're doing now that is going to get us there. But like whenever PyreXETH is integrated into EigenLayer and there's different L2s using it and there's deep liquidity on multiple chains and on mainnet, like there's all of these conditions that you could have a feel for that would make a lot of sense to then use as momentum to launch a stablecoin. But right now, if we just launched it, I think the stablecoin just wouldn't be very competitive, and then also it'd be very expensive to bootstrap both at the same time. We're the top APR. Yeah, we are still the highest yielding LST. There is no second best. Talk about a long game. Yeah, it is a long game, which is something we've been harping on a lot over the past couple of months. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces that once the floodgates open, then it'll start to be like more clear, especially after we launch the mode partnership, I believe. Redacted does seem to do a lot of work to empower other people's L2. Might as well go all the way. L2s like mode seem to leverage OP stack and get a ton of TVL. Yeah, but I guess like the difference is, right, that like a lot of these L2s like raise a ton of money. A lot of these L2s launch their own like points program, and then they have to attract a ton of partners to then launch projects on those chains to then run points programs or airdrops. It's not as simple as just like launching an L2. We're still a relatively lean team, and bootstrapping PXETH is taking a lot of manpower.
It won't be that bad. I think we have enough tech power to launch an L2. Ton of experience on the team. It's just you probably need a new token. Once you have a new token, you probably need points to be even competitive with the 1,000 L2s that are out there.
Yeah,
that really means more dilution. So it's just you gotta look at the pros and cons there. It becomes like a totally different new narrative, new project. We're fine. That's like the way to do it, sure. But it does come like this. It's not like you have to compete or you're wasting time.
Yeah. Integrating L2s and taking their ETH seems more the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the focus right now, for sure. Let's see. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Cool. Do we have any other things we want to talk about or you guys have questions about? Covered a lot today, and hopefully we've given some good insight into the mode situation. Is the mode ETH integration easily... All right, this is a good question. Is the mode ETH integration easily applicable to other L2s? Yes, and actually, it was designed with that in mind. And maybe Never can talk a little bit more about like how extendable it is.
It's pretty agnostic. As long as there's a layer 2 endpoint, we can go. It's built to be we built a generic knowing that there would be something in the future, but right now just completely focus on mode. Get the first one out, and then build up on it.
Yeah, and there's even two versions of the solution for like if L2s have a specific way they want to integrate. There's even two versions of it that they could use, so it's good. It's really good tech. Stop and don't say. I don't think we leaked anything that we haven't leaked before. Why mode versus other L2s? Sorry if this was previously answered. I think the straightforward answer is that we had a relationship there at mode that we could I mean, it's just like any other partnership, right? So like starting with mode made sense because we had an open line to the mode team. They were open to the idea. They needed a place to park their ETH, and we were willing to help build the solution for it. So it wasn't necessarily any different from, the way any other partnership works in the space. They just happen to be first. It's not just mode. Yeah, it will. Yeah, there are other. We've actually already announced a couple of others that we'll be doing something similar with. Just scroll on Twitter and you'll find them. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily a mode versus other L2s situation. It was just like the one that made sense. Yeah, I don't know what the GIF was. I think I missed it.
They also like came to us first,
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but any other questions or anything anybody else up here wants to cover?
Just degeneracy in the chat.
Yeah. It's all good. It's going downhill from here. Cool. Well, we are at the 45-minute mark, so if nobody has anything else to touch on, I guess we can wrap it up here and let everybody else go along with their Friday. So cool. Thanks everybody for coming to hang out as usual. It's a pleasure. We will have the recording up on Monday, and I'm sure VicePax will have the written version out relatively soon. So yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. We will see you all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.